It was a sunny morning in Greenleaf Forest. The birds were singing and the smell of fresh flowers filled the air. Lenny the squirrel was busy collecting acorns. He loved acorns more than anything. His small paws moved quickly as he placed each acorn in his little brown bag. While Lenny was working, Milo the rabbit was hopping nearby. Milo was looking for sweet clover to eat for breakfast. He had big, soft ears and a shy smile. He didn't like talking to strangers, but he loved helping others. As Milo jumped behind a bush, he saw something shiny on the ground. It was a gold button. "Oh, this is beautiful," Milo whispered. He picked it up and looked around. No one was there, so he put it in his pocket. A few minutes later, Lenny noticed something strange. "Where is my lucky button?" he cried. "I left it here this morning." Lenny ran around, searching in the grass and under the trees. That button was special to him. It was a gift from his grandmother. When Lenny saw Milo, he thought, maybe that rabbit took it. Without thinking, Lenny ran up to him and shouted, "Hey, did you take my button?" Milo's eyes went wide. "Button? Oh, is this yours?" He took the gold button out of his pocket and held it up. "Yes, it's mine." "Why did you take it?" Lenny asked angrily. "I didn't take it," Milo said softly. "I found it on the ground. I was going to look for the owner." Lenny stopped for a moment. He realized he might have been too quick to judge. "Oh, I'm sorry," he said. "I thought you stole it. Thank you for keeping it safe." Milo smiled a little. "It's okay. I understand. Sometimes we think the wrong thing before we know the truth." After that, Lenny and Milo sat together under a tall oak tree. They talked about their favorite foods. Lenny liked nuts, Milo liked carrots, and about their favorite places in the forest. Lenny told Milo about a secret spot near the river, where the water was so clear you could see tiny fish swimming. "That sounds wonderful," Milo said. "Maybe we can go there together one day." From that morning, the two became friends. They started meeting every day. Sometimes they played games like hide and seek, and sometimes they just sat and listened to Olive the owl tell her wise stories. Rusty the fox also joined them sometimes, bringing berries or telling funny jokes. One afternoon, Olive told them about an old wooden bridge deep in the forest. "It is very old," she said. "If it breaks, animals will have to take a long way around the river." Lenny looked at Milo. "Maybe we can check the bridge tomorrow. If it's broken, we can fix it together." Milo nodded. "Yes, friends should help each other, and maybe we can help the forest too." And so, their new friendship was already leading them to a small adventure. The challenge. The next morning, Lenny and Milo woke up early. The forest was cool and quiet, with a soft mist floating between the trees. The two friends met near the big oak tree where they had talked the day before. "Ready to see the old bridge?" Lenny asked, his fluffy tail waving excitedly. "Yes," Milo replied, "but I hope it's not too dangerous." They hopped and ran through the forest, passing colorful flowers, busy ants, and a small family of hedgehogs. Soon, they reached the river. The water sparkled under the morning sun, and the sound of it flowing was peaceful. When they finally saw the bridge, they stopped. The wooden planks looked old and gray. Some boards were missing, and one of the ropes on the side was loose. "Oh no," Milo whispered. "It looks worse than I thought." Lenny stepped carefully onto the first plank. It creaked loudly. "This bridge could break any day," he said. "We must fix it before someone gets hurt." Just then, Olive the owl flew down from a tree branch above. "I thought you might need my help," she said, her round eyes shining. "I brought Rusty too. He's coming with some tools." A moment later, Rusty the fox appeared, carrying a small bag in his mouth. Inside were nails, a hammer, and a few strong ropes. "If we work together, we can fix this in no time," he said. The four friends began their work. Lenny found extra wooden planks in the forest. Milo tied the ropes tightly to the bridge posts. Olive gave advice from above, telling them which parts were the weakest. Rusty hammered the nails carefully into the new boards. As they worked, they laughed and told stories. Milo told the others about the time he fell into a bush and came out covered in leaves. Lenny told a funny story about chasing his own tail when he was a baby squirrel. Even Olive chuckled at Rusty's joke about a fox who tried to swim, but forgot he couldn't. By afternoon, the bridge was much stronger. Only one last plank needed to be placed. Lenny was about to nail it down when he slipped, and the plank fell into the river with a splash. "Oh no!" Lenny shouted. Without thinking, Rusty jumped onto the bridge and grabbed Lenny's paw to stop him from falling. "Careful," Rusty said. "You almost went into the water." Milo quickly brought another plank, and this time they worked together to nail it in place. Finally, the bridge was complete. It looked strong and safe, and the ropes were tight. They all stood back to admire their work. "We did it," Olive said proudly. "Now the animals of Greenleaf Forest can cross the river safely." "I'm glad we helped," Milo said. "And we did it together." Rusty grinned. "That's what friends are for." They decided to test the bridge. One by one, they crossed it, feeling the strong wood under their feet. The water rushed below, but no plank moved or creaked. When they reached the other side, they cheered. "Tomorrow," Lenny said, "we should tell everyone that the bridge is fixed. Maybe we can even celebrate." The Olive looked at the sky. Dark clouds were gathering in the distance. "I'm not sure we should celebrate just yet," she said. "There might be a storm coming." The friends looked at the sky too. The wind was starting to blow harder, and the leaves in the trees danced wildly. "Let's head home," Rusty suggested. "If a storm is coming, we need to be ready." They crossed the bridge again and hurried through the forest. The air grew cooler, and the first drops of rain began to fall. The forest animals started to hide, birds flew to their nests, rabbits ran into their burrows, and squirrels climbed into tree holes. By the time they reached the big oak tree, the rain was falling harder. Thunder rumbled far away. "I think tomorrow's adventure will be about staying safe," Lenny said with a small smile. Milo nodded. "And helping each other, no matter what." They all said goodbye and ran to their homes, the rain soaking their fur and feathers. None of them knew that the storm would be stronger than they expected, and that it would test their friendship in a way they had never experienced before. That night, the wind howled through Greenleaf Forest. The rain came down in heavy sheets, drumming on the leaves and splashing into the puddles on the forest floor. The old oak trees groaned as their branches swayed back and forth. Inside his warm tree hole, Lenny the squirrel sat curled up with a blanket. He tried to ignore the loud noises outside. But then, crack! A huge branch broke and fell to the ground. Lenny's eyes widened. "This storm is worse than I thought," he said to himself. Meanwhile, in his cozy burrow under the hill, Milo the rabbit was also worried. Water was starting to leak in through one side. "Oh no, if the rain keeps falling like this, my burrow might flood," he whispered. Up in her nest high in the pine tree, Olive the owl was having trouble too. The strong wind shook her nest so much that she could barely stand. She knew she had to check on her friends. Olive spread her wings and flew into the storm, raindrops hitting her feathers. Down by the river, Rusty the fox was trying to keep the water out of his den. The river was rising quickly, and it was getting closer to his home. If it gets any higher, I'll have to move, he thought. Olive flew from tree to tree until she reached Lenny's home. Lenny, she called. Are you okay? Yes, but I'm worried about Milo. His burrow is in a low place, Lenny replied. Without wasting time, they set off together to find Milo. The rain made it hard to see, and the ground was slippery. When they reached Milo's burrow, they saw water rushing in. Milo, Lenny shouted. Come out. It's flooding. Milo appeared, carrying a small bag of carrots. I can't stay here. The water is too high. Come with us, Olive said. We'll go to Rusty's den. It's bigger and on higher ground. The three friends hurried through the storm to Rusty's home. But when they got there, they saw Rusty standing outside, looking worried. The river was only a few steps away from his door. It's no good, Rusty said. The river might flood my den too. They all looked around. The wind was getting stronger, and lightning flashed in the sky. We need to find somewhere safe for all of us, Olive said. I know, Lenny shouted. The stone cave near the hill. It's dry and big enough for everyone. So they ran together, fighting against the wind and rain. The cave was not far, but the path was muddy and full of fallen branches. At one point, Milo slipped, and his bag of carrots fell into the mud. Leave it, Rusty called. We need to keep moving. Finally, they reached the cave. It was cool and dry inside, and the sound of the storm was softer there. They all sat down, breathing heavily. Everyone safe? Olive asked. Yes, Milo said, though he was a bit sad about losing his carrots. Lenny smiled. We can find more carrots tomorrow. Right now we're together, and that's what matters. Rusty shook the water from his fur. I guess the storm didn't beat us after all. They spent the night in the cave. Olive told stories to keep their minds off the thunder. Lenny shared some acorns from his bag, and Rusty found a few dry berries hidden in his fur. They laughed when Milo said, Well, at least the storm washed the mud off your tail, Rusty. When morning came, the rain had stopped. The forest smelled fresh, and the sun peeked through the clouds. They left the cave and walked back to see the damage. Milo's burrow was full of water, and Rusty's den was muddy inside. Even Lenny's tree hole had a small leak. But instead of feeling sad, they looked at each other and smiled. We can fix everything together, Lenny said. Yes, Milo agreed. We helped each other during the storm, and we'll help each other now. As they began cleaning and repairing, other animals in the forest came to help too. The storm had been strong, but their friendship was stronger. And they all knew that when the work was done, they would celebrate not just because the storm was over, but because they had faced it together. A week had passed since the great storm. Greenleaf Forest was finally peaceful again. The trees stood tall, their leaves bright and fresh after the rain. The river flowed calmly, and the birds sang happily in the morning light. Lenny, Milo, Olive, and Rusty had been very busy. They repaired Milo's burrow, cleaned the mud from Rusty's den, and fixed the leak in Lenny's tree hole. They also helped other animals whose homes had been damaged. The old bridge they had repaired before the storm was still strong, which made them proud. One sunny afternoon, Olive called her friends together under the big oak tree. I have an idea, she said with a smile. We should celebrate. The storm is over, the forest is safe, and our friendship is stronger than ever. That's a great idea. Lenny said, his tail twitching with excitement. "We can invite all the animals in the forest." Milo's ears perked up. "We can have food, music, and games. I'll bring fresh carrots." Rusty grinned. "And I can bring berries and honey. I know a beehive that has plenty." They decided to hold the festival in the meadow near the river, where there was plenty of space. Over the next few days, the animals worked together to prepare. Squirrels hung colorful leaves and flowers from tree branches. Rabbits dug small fire pits for cooking. Birds practiced their songs, and the hedgehogs made garlands from daisies. On the morning of the festival, the meadow looked beautiful. Bright ribbons made from long grass waved in the wind. Tables made of flat stones were covered with nuts, fruits, and vegetables. There was even a stage made of logs for music and dancing. As the sun rose higher, animals began to arrive. Deer, foxes, rabbits, squirrels, birds, and hedgehogs, all smiling and carrying food to share. The air was full of laughter and the smell of delicious treats. Olive flew to the center of the meadow and cleared her throat. "Friends," she began, "we are here today to celebrate not just the end of the storm, but the kindness, courage, and teamwork that helped us through it. This festival is for all of us." Everyone clapped and cheered. The music began. 2 woodpeckers tapped a happy rhythm on a hollow log, while a family of songbirds sang along. Lenny danced in circles, Milo hopped happily, and Rusty tried to spin but tripped over his own tail, making everyone laugh. After the dancing, they played games. There was a nut-hiding contest, a race across the meadow, and even a leaf decorating competition. Lenny won the nut-hiding game, Milo came first in the race, and Olive's beautiful leaf design won the art contest. Rusty didn't win any prizes, but he didn't mind. He was too busy telling jokes and making everyone smile. As the day went on, the animals gathered around the tables to share food. Milo served sweet carrots, Rusty shared berries and honey, and Lenny handed out roasted acorns. Olive brought wild mushrooms, which were a special treat. When the sun began to set, the sky turned golden and pink. The friends sat together, watching the river shine in the fading light. "This is the best day," Milo said softly. "Yes," Lenny agreed. "But the best part isn't the food or the games, it's that we're all here together." Rusty nodded. "The storm could have made us scared or angry, but instead it made us closer." Olive smiled. "That's the magic of friendship. When we help each other, we can face anything." The festival continued into the evening. Fireflies lit up the meadow, and the animals sang songs under the stars. It was a night they would never forget. From that day on, Greenleaf Forest was not just a home. It was a place where friendship grew as strong as the tallest tree and as bright as the morning sun. And whenever a storm came again, the animals knew they would face it together, side by side.